Elderly woman's dog barked at the mailman. Every day. The truth behind it saved her life. In the peaceful town of Riverbrook, 76-year-old Martha Jenkins lived alone with her loyal German Shepherd Bruno. Ever since her husband passed away 3 years ago, Bruno had been her constant companion, her protector, and her best friend. Martha's neighbors often commented on how well-behaved Bruno was, gentle, quiet, and incredibly obedient. But there was one exception to his perfect behavior. Every day when the mailman, Rick, approached their house, Bruno would erupt into a frenzy of barking, growling, and scratching at the door. This strange behavior started 6 months ago, and Martha couldn't understand it. Bruno had never shown any aggression toward Rick before. In fact, Rick had always brought treats for Bruno, and they seemed to get along just fine. "It's just what dogs do," her neighbor Susan told her. "They bark at mailmen. It's in their nature." But Martha wasn't convinced. Bruno wasn't just any dog. He was exceptionally well trained and rarely barked without good reason. This sudden change in behavior worried her deeply. She tried everything she could think of: treats, training, even keeping Bruno in the backyard during mail delivery time. Nothing worked. The moment Rick's mail truck pulled up to the curb, Bruno would dash to the window and begin his aggressive barking routine. Martha was embarrassed and apologized to Rick repeatedly. "I don't know what's gotten into him," she'd say, holding Bruno back as Rick quickly delivered the mail. Rick always smiled kindly. "Don't worry about it, Mrs. Jenkins. Dogs will be dogs." But as weeks passed, Bruno's behavior only intensified. Now he wouldn't just bark, he would position himself between Martha and the door, as if protecting her from some invisible threat. Martha began to feel anxious and considered calling a professional dog trainer, but her fixed income made that difficult. Then one day, Martha's daughter Amy came to visit. After witnessing Bruno's unusual behavior toward the mailman, Amy suggested they set up a small camera near the front door. "Just to see if there's something specific triggering him," she explained. Martha agreed, though she felt silly doing it. What could possibly be on camera that she hadn't already seen with her own eyes? The next day, Martha watched as Rick delivered the mail while Bruno performed his usual barking routine. Later, when she reviewed the footage with Amy, something caught their attention. As Rick approached the door, he would first glance around quickly, then test Martha's doorknob before slipping the mail through the slot. It was subtle, quick, and easily missed if you weren't looking for it. "That's strange," Amy said, rewinding the footage. "Why would he check your doorknob?" They reviewed footage from several days, and the pattern was clear. Rick always checked the doorknob, and sometimes even peered through Martha's front window before delivering the mail. Bruno had been reacting to this suspicious behavior all along. Martha was troubled but didn't want to jump to conclusions. Perhaps Rick had a reasonable explanation. Maybe he was checking if she was home to receive packages. The mystery deepened when Martha noticed small items missing from her home: a silver letter opener from the entryway table, a decorative paperweight from her desk near the front window. She had attributed these disappearances to her own forgetfulness, but now she wasn't so sure. Amy insisted they call the police, but Martha was hesitant. "What if we're wrong about Rick? He's always been so kind to me." They decided to set up more cameras inside the house, near the entryway. 3 days later, they had their answer. The footage showed Rick arriving at his usual time, checking if the coast was clear, then using a key to quietly open Martha's front door. He quickly slipped inside, took a small figurine from her collection, and was out in less than a minute. The entire time, Bruno was locked in the backyard, barking frantically. Martha's hands trembled as she watched the footage. "How did he get a key to my house?" Amy immediately called the police, who asked them to continue as normal while they set up an operation. The next day, as Rick approached Martha's house, Bruno began his protective barking as usual. But this time, When Rick inserted his key in the lock, 2 plainclothes officers emerged from the bushes and apprehended him. The investigation revealed that Rick had been systematically targeting elderly residents on his mail route, stealing small valuables that wouldn't be immediately missed. He had somehow obtained a copy of Martha's house key, possibly during a previous package delivery, when she might have left her keys visible. More shocking still, police found evidence in Rick's home suggesting he had been planning something much worse. Notes detailed Martha's daily routine, when she took her medication and when she was most vulnerable. His theft of small items had just been the beginning. If it weren't for Bruno recognizing the danger, the detective told Martha, this could have ended very differently. Bruno became the hero of Riverbrook. The local newspaper ran a story about the vigilant dog who had protected his owner by alerting her to danger the only way he knew how. Martha cried as she hugged Bruno, finally understanding the truth behind his behavior. He hadn't just been barking at the mailman, he had been trying desperately to warn her of a threat she couldn't see. The police chief presented Bruno with an honorary K9 badge at a small ceremony in Martha's living room. Some heroes wear badges, he said, and others wear collars. Martha's neighbors started a community watch program, checking on elderly residents more frequently. Amy installed a security system in her mother's home and visited more often. As for Bruno, he no longer barks at the new mail carrier. Instead, he watches calmly from the window, his job as protector fulfilled. At night, he sleeps closer to Martha's bed than ever before. The bonds between humans and their animal companions run deeper than we can imagine. Sometimes, when we think our pets are misbehaving, they're actually trying to tell us something important. We just need to listen. Martha now tells everyone who will listen. Pay attention when your pets try to warn you. They see things we miss, sense things we can't. Bruno didn't just bark at the mailman every day. He was trying to save my life. If you liked this touching story, subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming tales that will remind you of the special connection between humans and animals. Don't forget to like and share this video with someone who needs to hear it.